Hi there, welcome to the Schwowin's Nest. I am so glad you're here. My first project for you today is another Kirkland's inspired DIY. I saw this beautiful watering can on their website, $73, and I know for sure I can make it for less. So to get that variegated or lined look of the galvanized, I'm taking some twine, and you can use any type of twine, and I'm hot gluing the lines all the way around the picture, and I'm going to go all the way up to the top. To attach the same spout, I'm going to use this roll that I got from contact paper. It's really nice and sturdy, and I'm just going to cut it down with my utility knife on an angle until I get the right look, and then I'll shorten it up as well. I'm just going to use some hot glue to glue it on, and I don't mind that there's extra hot glue around it because it looks like it's been soldered on, which gives it more of an authentic look. For the spout, I'm just using an old jar lid, and I'm going to glue that right to the end of the cardboard tube. At first, I thought I would spray paint it white, but I gave it one coat and it just wasn't doing the trick. So I took some gray spray paint primer and I put that on first, and then I used a hammered metal finish in silver and just left it this way. And I think this is the perfect look for it. It's not 100% like the Kirkland's one, but I'm okay with that. Now I'm just taking a sponge brush and some rusty colored paint and dabbing it along the metal areas to give it more of an aged and rustic look. It's not exactly like the Kirkland's one, but I love it. I think it's absolutely gorgeous with all of these greens in it. I wanted to share with you that my video today is part of the Spring is in the Air Hop hosted by Andrea Peacock, and I am being joined by some amazing creators. You're going to love all of their styles and their decor, so please make sure you go check out their channels. I'll have all their links down in my description box. And we're giving away a $60 Amazon card, so you're not going to want to miss out on all of that fun. If you're not familiar with a hop and how it works, I'll explain that in a few minutes. Let's get back to crafting. My second project is using this little wooden board. I'm not quite sure if it would be like a cutting board or something to hang. I guess a cutting board is what it would look like to me. Anyhow, it's beautiful acacia wood, but you can see that both sides are a little bit different in color. So I've decided to stain it. But before I do that, I need to just sand it down lightly with some sandpaper because it has been treated with some type of coating. You can tell it's a little slippery, and I just want to rough that up so it will take the stain better. I'm just using a paper towel to rub the stain on and then rub it in and off at the same time. This is an effect that I like to do because it just works for me. You can use a rag or a sponge or a brush, whatever works for you. I found this gorgeous cast iron hook at my Dollarama store. It was $2.50, and I decided that this would be a sweet thing to put on top of the wood. It has a dark brown color, so I decided to use my favorite new spring color, which is Eucalyptus by Martha Stewart, and it is a chalk paint. And when I put it on, it looked like it was oxidized copper, which gives it that green look. And with the brown showing through underneath, I thought it was just perfect. If you've been following me on my channel, you'll know that I got a Cricut Joy just before Christmas, and I have been having a ton of fun cutting out different stencils for myself, and this is one of them. It says Farm Fresh, and I'm going to use some white chalk paint to just go ahead and stencil those words on in a nice little circle right above where I'm going to be placing the hook. I have a bunch of stencils, decals, and free printables available for you on my website. Go down to my description box and you'll see all of the links there. I'm just using a chalk marker to write the words seeds, stems, and blooms with a little dot in between each word. To get the handle attached, I'm using a pretty thick screw, but it's also very short, and I've got a whole bunch of different screws in my stash. I am just hammering it in a little bit just to get it started, and then I'm going to use my ratchet screwdriver to screw it all the way in. So staying with the theme of watering cans, this is one that I purchased at Ikea many years ago. It's been sitting on my shelf waiting for a makeover. It's not my style for sure because it has this gold handle. So I'm taking a makeup sponge and some brown chalk paint, and I'm just going to give it the same look that I gave the hook. I want the brown with a little bit of green on top. So I'm going to sponge about 2 coats of the brown on, and then I'm going to go over with the green. And I'm going to do the same thing for the spout. Using the stencil that I got from the Dollar Tree, I started stenciling on some flowers in just a random pattern on the bottom part of the watering can, but then I decided that I really didn't like that look. So I just removed it. And because this is chalk paint and it's on a slick surface, it really came off easy. I was able to just take some acetone and just pull it off. And you probably could have used soap and water, but I didn't want to risk wrecking the rest of it that was already painted. I ended up just doing one flower all the way around just under the rim of that bend. Unfortunately, I turned my camera off and didn't turn it back on again, so I can't show you that. But this is how it looks, and I thought it would look really cute hanging from the hook. I'm going to seal it with this clear matte finish to make sure the paint doesn't peel. And here's what it looks like. So for my third project, I'm using one of these charger plates. I took it out to my garage and gave it a couple of coats of flat white paint, as you can see here. This is a Pinterest inspired DIY, and here's my inspiration. Look at the gorgeous lines of that plate, the color, those birds. I just thought it was beautiful. So I'm taking these jewelry beads and my Starbond glue, and I'm going to glue a pattern all the way around the edge, trying to duplicate what I saw on that plate because I didn't want to go out to the thrift store and see if I could find something similar. So these beads turned out pretty good. The Starbond glue is fantastic. You need to get Starbond glue if you're working with small items like this or even just regular larger projects. When you use the glue plus that spray accelerator that you just saw me use, it dries the glue instantly and it is 100% clear. So this is something you need to take a look at. I have a link down in my description box if you're interested. To add a little bit more detail, I'm using these leaves and I'm going to glue them on every second bead. So if you're not familiar with how a hop works, you'll go down to my description box after you've finished watching my video, of course, and click on the link, and that will take you to the next person in the hop. Then you'll watch their video. Don't forget to comment on all of ours so you're entered into the draw for the $60 Amazon gift card. Then you're going to click on the link in their description box and keep going that way until you get back to my video. We'll be announcing the winner in our community on April 17th. So here I am painting with my new favorite color for spring, the eucalyptus from Martha Stewart chalk paints. And I'm using a brush. I really wish I would have had this color in a spray paint because it would have made things so much easier with all these little cracks and crevices. But it did turn out in the long run. I gave it 2 coats and made sure they dried really well in between. I created this little bird stencil using my Cricut and I cut it out just on cardstock. I didn't want to do a plastic stencil because I didn't know how often I would want to use the same type of birds. I am using a makeup sponge and some black chalk paint. When you are sponging like this, you need to make sure that your sponge isn't really loaded with paint. You'd rather do a couple of thin coats than one big coat, especially when you're using something like cardstock. It has more of the opportunity to bleed through. Once the paint was dry, I gave it a coat of this clear matte finish again because I didn't want the next step to ruin any of the stencil. I am taking some clear wax with a little bit of white acrylic paint in it, and I'm using this to distress the plate. I want to make those little details pop and give it more of a rustic look. So I'm just going to be applying the wax with my paintbrush and then just blending it in to get rid of any brush strokes. Because the center of the plate is a larger surface, I'm brushing on the wax, but I'm going to use a paper towel to just gently blend it in so I can get rid of any of the streaks. I hope you enjoyed these DIYs today. If you did, I'd love for you to give me a thumbs up. That tells YouTube that you like what I'm doing and they promote me more, which in turn helps my channel grow. If you're new here, I'd love for you to stick around. Hit that subscribe button. That black arrow will tell you exactly where to click. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support. See you in the next one.